Many cosplayers dress up as their favorite video game characters, but not a lot of video games allow you to play as yourself. And that's one of the many reasons why BioWare is as popular as they are.
It's a good story. I mean, that's the basic thing. It's a good story.
I think it's right up there with like Star Trek, Star Wars. Like the storyline's so good.
I think they listen to the fans, which is nice, and it's just a beautiful world.
I thought the voice acting was great, the script was good.
The storyline for those games is just crazy, in-depth, and it just brings people in, and you almost want to be a part of the game.
I love character and I love writing, and I feel like BioWare games are like reading a good book. They take you into the world rather than just having you play in a world.
Everybody can have a different playthrough of this game. Everybody can experience this game differently, the games differently.
In Dragon Age and Mass Effect, when you play the games, you are making the decisions. You're not playing Hawk, you're not playing Shepard, you are Hawk. Their decisions are your decisions. So it at least for me, it kind of really resonated. I was the one making those decisions, so I'm the one who should be cosplaying Shepard or Hawk because that's me.
You just get really emotionally attached to them, so you want to recreate them.
And it's a very fun gameplay style. It's pretty too.
I think when it comes to BioWare costumes, people either make their Commander Shepard, which is their Shepard. It's their personal armor set. It's who their Shepard is. They talk about their origin story, their background, what mission they did, who their squad mates are. They might do in the Dragon Age universe their Grey Warden, their Hawk, what armor sets, the customization.
I enjoy doing Mass Effect because it's my favorite game series ever, because the main character is customizable. It could be myself playing. It could be a black female character being the center of the universe, controlling everything, not being marginalized, not being statistic, or just having a chance to feel like you're part of the game.
People have a more personal connection to these games because they're able to kind of inject their own personality into their playthrough, so I guess they feel a little bit more attached to the characters, which makes perfect sense. I mean, if you're playing and you get a dialogue wheel and you can choose what kind of attitude your character wants to have or what kind of attitude you want to, have towards other characters. I don't know, people get really attached to their romances or their main character.
Probably romancing characters is probably my favorite part of the games.
Probably Garrus. He was the one that was the funnest to go after and try to romance. Because Samara is a dead end. That leads nowhere.
The ability to be who you are in the games, you can explore being a complete evil person, a completely nice person, yourself, and also, just like in Mass Effect, being able, if you're LGBT, like as I am, being able to romance somebody and have that connection in a game as well. Because it's the only game where I see where you can do that. There's nobody who is discriminating against the character because female Hawk romances Meryl or Warden romances Liliana.
Even beyond Shepard, there's just a lot of really fun people that it's great to pretend to be or pay homage to.
Because BioWare games start with characters, and we put characters first, and then from there, from great characters come great stories. We've actually been lucky to put out there a lot of great characters in Mass Effect and Dragon Age, and so fans really respond to those, and they get excited enough because the characters are interesting enough and well-rounded enough and detailed enough that fans get passionate about cosplaying them. So it's an amazing thing. I think with Inquisition, we've had more dialogues with the cosplay community before the game comes out than ever any game before.
I had a couple years where I didn't cosplay, but I just came back to it after I started playing Mass Effect and fell in love with Commander Shepard.
Sometimes it's hard to put into words how much you may enjoy a video game. Like, I love Mass Effect. How do I tell people how much? I'll dress up as Commander Shepard! People kind of get it right away.
I love the trilogy. I love what it represents, the customization of the character, and Jennifer Hale's amazing voice acting really drew me in and felt like I was Commander Shepard.
I'm Commander Shepard from Mass Effect 2. This is the Blood Dragon armor. I love Mass Effect and Dragon Age, so it's kind of a mashup of both of them, and I liked it.
I am Flemeth from Dragon Age 2, and she's one of my favorite villains of all time in a video game. She's just so like, she's a dragon first off, which is pretty awesome. She's very like demanding presence, she's very strong, and she's just super badass, and I totally love it.
I want to embody who she is, though, the strength of her soul and the strength of her magic and the strength of who she is as this independent woman who comes up against her mother, Flemeth, and comes into her own and searches for her own journey.
What I like about him is his uniqueness as a character amongst the universe. He has opinions, but he's not very imposing of them. As one of my favorite quotes that he says is, he wishes to understand, not incite.
This is Matriarch Benezia from the Mass Effect series, and actually the very first time I played this game and I saw this character on the screen, I immediately fell in love with her because she was the strong, confident, powerful woman who just took no crap from anybody. And I knew the second I saw her, I had to cosplay her, so that's the reason why I made this.
I actually really connect with Hawk on a pretty visceral level. It was probably the first costume I experienced at a con that wasn't an anime one. It was probably the first that I actually started getting integrated into the community with as well, so it's special on a lot of different levels.
Dragon Age appealed to me because it was an open-ended fantasy game, and fantasy is definitely my favorite genre. Mass Effect I kind of played on a one-off, and sci-fi isn't really my thing, but I enjoyed it, and I particularly enjoyed Zaid, the character that I'm cosplaying, so he's kind of a jerk. I tend to enjoy the jerk characters. He's kind of irreverent and brazen. I really like him.
My single favorite thing would have to be when I'm playing Dragon Age 2, I love being like Sass Master Hawk, just sassing everybody, waiting for her witty comebacks, listening to what she has to say.
Morinth is she's a little more of a like snaky kind of fun character, and as opposed to the Samara character where it's like she's very stern and she never has any facial expressions. She's just very like stern in all her pictures. So with Morinth, it's easier to be a little more goofy and a little more like me, I guess.
Cassandra doesn't have a huge role in Dragon Age 2. She's one of like the frame narrator characters of the game, but she has like a lot of attitude. She stabs some books and yells at some people, and it's partially that because I haven't seen much of her as a character, but that I like the design a lot. I think she has cool looking armor, and I wanted to challenge myself to try and make it.
I'm cosplaying as Kasumi Goto from Mass Effect 2, and I made this because I just really liked the character. It had a really unique kind of backstory, and her special DLC mission in the game was one of my favorite ones.
I just really like how much BioWare works with their fans. I mean, they've been creating the cosplay packages and stuff so that cosplayers can get really good references. Every con that they come to, they're really supportive and they love getting feedback from us and everything. So it's nice to have a game company to work with that you actually feel like you're working with them. They actually will come up to you at cons and be like, wow, you look amazing.
The one thing I really loved about Origins is that it felt like it was a lived-in universe, that there is history here.
Cosplay is so difficult to do, but it's so easy to get into. So if you want to cosplay and you're not doing it now, just do it. The BioWare franchises have such amazing, rich, deep universes and really compelling characters that you feel connected to them and you want to become part of the universes. I feel like cosplay is an art form that you want to kind of give back to the characters as well as kind of the development process.
This is Shiela from Mass Effect 1, and I chose to play her because I absolutely adore Mass Effect and I adore the Asari, and I'm a glutton for punishment and love the challenge of this makeup.
I think just the process of putting it all on is pretty difficult. Like right now it's a little painful up here. It's a little tight on my head, and it takes about 2.5 to 3 hours to put it all on.
Actually, I've done Commander Shepard's armor before, and normally I do armor, but I had a friend push me. She's like, you'd make a good Samara, you should do Samara. And so I looked at the character, and I'm like, you know what, prosthetics, I've never done prosthetics before, that'd be a good challenge. So I did Samara. In my opinion, she's the closest thing to a Jedi I think you could get in the Mass Effect universe.
I feel like everybody was very welcoming, and not a lot of people knew who I was, so a lot of people just kind of
assumed that I was just a normal cosplayer. I think, you know, they just kind of like were like, oh, that's a really good Samara. Wow, you look just like her. And I was like, oh, thanks, I am her. And then it was kind of like this does not compute look that they would get. They were just kind of like, I don't understand that. What do you mean you're dressing as the person that you are? Like, so it was fun, like that reaction. And everybody's been very like welcoming and open to it all. So yeah, it's been fun.
When I first played Mass Effect, actually, it was probably in high school, because my brother had gotten the first Mass Effect and there was too much dialogue, so he didn't like it. And so I looked at it, I go, space game, I go, I'll play this. And then I saw like all the interactions and the romances and everything, and then I fell in love with it, because I used to like really play Knights of the Old Republic on my Xbox, and the first Mass Effect game was just like that, and that's when I fell in love with it. So.
I've always loved BioWare games, so Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate, Dragon Age, Mass Effect.
Pretty much everybody that I've had interactions with the Mass Effect cosplay, all those people have been super awesome and really helpful.
There's a lot of resonance in the whole struggle for man's place in humanity, in the world, and the galaxy, and I find that it reflects my struggle trying to find my place in the life around me.
I think it's very easy to get attached to the characters, which of course makes people want to cosplay them, because it's a tribute to characters that you love. But also BioWare has fun designs, so there's definitely an appeal, and I like that each of their character designs look very different. BioWare is very open and makes an effort to include a lot of diversity in their games, which is wonderful.
What's great about video games is they take artwork and acting and writing and music and direction and cinematography and graphics and gameplay. They take basically every art form that has ever existed and they roll it up into one experience for you to have. What's unique about BioWare is they allow you to then, at the end of all of that, be the final contributor. You add your character, you put yourself into the game, and that's why they've changed the way I want to game and why I think so many people love their video games as much as they do.
Not only is the story amazing, but the story is accessible to everyone. And even the background cast is diverse. You know, you've got voice actors of all races and backgrounds and face models of different ethnicities, and it's a really fun game.
BioWare has amazing character design. They all look so different. So I think artistically, you really appreciate getting able to kind of get dirty when making those costumes. They have a lot of great designs that really can push you to your limits, but I think a lot of people just love the characters and love the story, and that's why they do it.
Hi, I'm Todd Kenrick, the director for Cosplay Boom.
And I'm producer Megan Sadler,
who is also my fiance. The cosplay community is full of inspiring people.
And we want to keep showing you that.
Your encouragement and your pledges make a huge difference.
And people who pledge will get awesome rewards on Patreon.
Also, Patreon will give you a personal tour into our world.
And every dollar you pledge will help us get closer to our fundraiser goals and make better videos.
You can see all of our fundraising goals and all our awesome rewards on our Patreon page by clicking on the link in this post.
With your help, you can help us make Cosplay Boom the best project ever.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.